This video is brought to you by Dr. Kristen R. Bromley's Guitar Method Book Series and Online Music Academy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Bromley. Welcome to my online academy. It's so great to have you joining me here in these online lessons. It's a Theory Thursday, so we got a little fretboard theory with this lesson. This is part 5 of sort of this series of lessons that are part of these Theory Thursdays that have been about the major scale. Understanding how to play the major scale on the guitar can really unlock the fretboard for us, so we've been doing several lessons with that. In the first part, we looked at a single octave form that we can play on various string sets or sets of strings, and also in part 2 we looked at how we can shift with that form and play in different positions along the neck, just shifting from that form within itself, how we could even play it up one string, which is kind of nifty and fun. Then in part 3 we looked at an alternate scale form. If I play it here in C, another way of playing a single octave form of the major scale. In part 4 we looked at how we can combine the two forms, form 1 and form 2 together, to fill out the entire position. And so in part 4 we looked at 3 different ways of the 5, and in this lesson we're going to look at 2 more. So if you haven't seen those other lessons, you may want to check those out if this is the first one you're jumping into. So with the last lesson we looked at 3 positional forms where our middle finger starts, or that form 1 is the lowest form that we start with, and then we switched to the alternate form and filled out the rest of the position. And really we have partials of scale form 1 or 2 that can sit on the high and low strings. So 3 of the 5 were covered in the last lesson. We're going to cover 2 more, the other 2 of the 5 in this lesson. I got them written up here on the board. So in the last lesson where we started with the form 1 first, we're going to start with form 2 as our lowest form. So look up here, you can look up here with the first one that I have over here on the left side. I'm going to do this in the key of C, so I'm going to put my pinky on the 8th fret of the 6th string. So we start with scale form 2, just the single octave scale form 2. Then when I get to that higher root, we can switch to scale form 1. Now we've played all of these in the previous lessons, and I just go up and I end on that high root, so I've finished off scale form 1, and then I come back with scale form 2. And then we have just this piece, boom, 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 of scale form 1 that we can play on the bottom. So a great way to practice these or play these is to just go ahead and play from the lowest root to the highest note in the position, which happens to be a root in this case, and then play to the lowest note in the position and come back to the root. And of course you can practice that in each position along the neck. I just started in a comfortable position right there, which starts in 5th position, my pinky on that root at the 8th fret. But the lowest position you could play this one in, because of the shift without using any open strings, is fret 5. And so you can just play this scale with your pinky on fret 5, starting in 2nd position. We shift down to 1st position just momentarily. And then I could move up and play it in B flat. And so on and so forth. So we've got that one right there. Then, of course, we have one more form, and I'll do this one with my pinky at the 8th fret as well. So this alternate form is where we start with form 2 with our pinky on the 5th string. So we had our lowest root on the 6th string with this one, starting with form 2, switching to form 1. Now we're going to do form 2 as the lowest one. And actually the only complete octave that we get with this one, we're going to start with our pinky on the 8th fret there of the 5th string, and we play scale form 2, and I just have a single octave. Then on top we have part of the octave, part of an octave, using scale form 1. So we got that on top, and then we come back down with scale form 2, and then we can come back down with a little bit of scale form 1, just a piece of it, and back to the root. So we only have one complete octave of the scale from root to root, and then we got these pieces with scale form 1 on top and bottom. So I'll play through it again. in linking these two together, because of how the shape is, they're very similar with the shape. I actually see sort of the G chord and how it would work in first position a little bit out of this, and then the C chord out of that one, and how the bar chords of those would work if we did bar chords of those, which is kind of a hefty thing to do. But a great way to practice these two together is to start on the lowest root that's possible on that 6th string, and then just move up chromatically, and you can come back down if you want. But when you get up high as you want to play, if we got up into 12th position or something, maybe a little bit lower depending on your guitar, you can switch to the 5th string and then descend with the alternate form. So that is, since I started, I gotta finish it and then come down. So that is how these final two forms of the 5 positional forms work, which is super cool. These are so important to learn all of these scales. Unlocking the fretboard really starts with the scales for a couple different reasons. One, if we want to learn how to read notes, and that's where I really started memorizing. You might think, okay, I've got these scale shapes down, but I don't know what notes I'm actually playing, and that can be very true unless you knew what key you're in and you work through the key. But that's okay at this point. We don't need to know those, but where I really started memorizing the neck was learning to read. And Note Reading Book 3 uses this scale system to learn to read all over the neck, first in the key of C or with no sharps or flats, and then A minor, and then goes through different keys with sharps and flats. So that's one way to actually start learning where the pitches are on the fretboard with the scale system. But we use these scales for improvisation, and then they just open up technically with our hands the ability to play any of the songs that we want to play that go all over the neck. There's a connection that comes to these. It also creates a foundational understanding for the chords and a lot of different things that we do. So knowing these scales really helps us out. Great foundation. In the next lesson, we're going to do one more lesson with these movable, meaning that they have no open strings, so we can move that shape along the neck. We're going to do one more lesson on a Theory Thursday here. It'll be the next Theory Thursday. One more lesson with all the shapes. Sort of summarize it together. I'll show you how the 5 forms sit next to each other along the fretboard, and just how everything sort of solidifies together, and just the magic of it all. So it's going to be great. I hope to see you then. We also have our Technique Tidbit Tuesdays, and on Saturday there's always a mini course that has some lesson coming out. Right now it's all on flat picking, a lot of improvisation with the flat picking is what's happening right now at the time that this lesson's being shot. So hope you're having fun with the guitar. Take care, and we'll see you again. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. For more in-depth lessons and to progress through a free guitar course, check out my Guitar 101 series on YouTube and my guitar method books, which all come with access to hours of in-depth video lessons. You can find more information about me and my products at KristenBromley.com. Take care.